like to call this meeting to order. Under the Sunshine Law, the Runnymede Board of Education meeting is called to order. The Board of Education is in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 entitled the Open Public Meetings Act. The time, date, and location of this meeting was appropriately advertised by notifying in retrospect, as well as posting notices in the Borough Hall, Runnymede Post Office, Maryville School, Bingham School, Grace Downing School, and Runnymede Public School District website. At this time, would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have Patricia Adair present, Angel Beebe, Naomi Davidson, Maria Panzarella, Charles Buckheim. I think that's it right now. And also present, we have our Superintendent, Mark Iannucci, Sean McCarron, our Business Administrator and Supervisor of Curriculum, Jada Yezi, Principal, Downing and Bingham, Steve Paley, Principal, Mary Volz, Phil Silva, Vice Principal, and Gladys Hubbard, Child Study Team Supervisor. Mr. Hines is not here this evening. He has a family situation to deal with.
We need a motion for approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the last.
425.
Yeah, that's what I
I'll
meant.
second Ms. Marie's talk so fast I couldn't get anything out.
Well, I could have tried to do.
Motion made by Maria, seconded by Patty. Any questions? And this is for both regular minutes and executive session. Ms. Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beebe,
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim,
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
Motion passes. At this time, we need a motion and a second for the financial report ending in April 30th, 2017.
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report ending in April 30th, 2007.
Second?
I said that, didn't I? I'm thinking 6.
Patty, was that you who seconded it? Or did-
No, Naomi.
Naomi started.
She's coming on my year error. I live in the past a lot.
Any questions? Ms. Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beebe,
Sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim,
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
In regards to presentations, the presentation is an announcement for the district. Bingham and Downey Elementary Schools will be hosting Alex's Lemonade Stand. I know that many community members and many board members attended last year. That will be Thursday, June 15th at both schools. So if you're able to attend, please mark your calendars.
During the day?
2:45 start.
2:45?
Cool.
When school, that's it.
I did, sir.
At this time, we'll do recognition of citizens on agenda items only.
And the public is reminded that they should attempt to resolve any problems or complaints through initial contact with the staff member or members involved. Complaints should only be brought to the board after the appropriate school staff has had a reasonable opportunity to resolve the problem at the employee level, and statements should be limited to topics to be addressed on the published agenda. Any comments from the public? Okay.
Okay, so for the BA and curriculum report, currently we're in the final, we're preparing for our audit, which is coming up this summer. We are also working with many of our vendors and getting contracts. So if you look at the financial report for this month, you're gonna see a number of approvals to get everything set up and ready for the 17-18 school year. So while everyone's thinking about closing out this school year, we're actually preparing every single thing to start the start of the school year up as a whole in the office. I've attended a couple meetings. One of the main ones that I attended this month was the homeless liaison meeting. As school districts, we're responsible for any students who are displaced. So we met as a tri-county between Camden County, Gloucester County, and Cumberland County to discuss different resources that are available for students. Michelle DeMattis is the homeless liaison for the district. However, the business office usually gets involved with any displaced student situation in regards to transportation or tuition that might have to be paid to another district. As far as curriculum, New Jersey Ask for grades 4 and 8 is tomorrow. Park is completely finished, so all that information was sent and submitted. And we're in the process, I know teachers are working with their principals on completing their SGOs and their summative evaluations. Summer reading will be going out just as it did last year. Students in grades K to 2 will be getting the book, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. Students in 3 to 5 will be getting the book, The BFG.
You mean we read the wrong one?
Exactly, there you go. And then students in grades 6 to 8 will be getting Pay It Forward, the Young Readers Edition. Teachers are getting the book, Teach Like a Pirate. And then administration's getting a compatible book, which is Lead Like a Pirate, that we'll be using for our opening day activities as well. We're very excited. Pirate patches for everyone. I know Mrs. Hummel's excited about the pirate patch.
It's also required that you have to know your R's.
Exactly. Mr. Iannucci's going to give a pirate speech at the beginning of the year. We're all looking forward to it. We're in full swing as far as registrations are concerned for summer programming. We have a lot of offerings throughout the district. I tried to put out a quick video because we were getting questions. So Mr. Iannucci likes my video, but it's a 5-minute overview of just all the summer programs and offerings that we have in the district and how to register. So as of right now, we have a little bit over 50 students registered currently for our full day summer program. In addition, we have our Title I and ESY programs taking place. We have our sports clinics, which students are still able to sign up for. And we have, of course, we have our summer reading, our Chromebook summer camps, a lot of offerings for students this year. So a lot going on.
So I'm sorry,
Go for it.
what we're gonna approve in number 17, that's all the staff based on
Correct.
what you think.
So a lot of the staff has said that they'll work as substitutes, they'll work, we have some staff who might be working Title I or ESY,
And will be
which is 9 to 12, but then they're also saying that they'll work 12 to 3.
Okay.
So that's why you'll see under certain things that you're approving for summer program, it says based on student numbers. So you'll know that during the school year when Bingham and Downing went above 23 students, we got a third person who started working aftercare. And what we did was we would give that one person 1 hour each day, or until the numbers decreased to a certain amount that they would be able to then leave, and we would use them for that time period. So that's worked out well, and we try to be as flexible as possible with parents, and staff is just as flexible when we do schedules. So we're looking forward to offering that to the community this year. And that's June 26th through August 11th that's being offered. Questions?
Not to duplicate efforts, I will give some of my report that Dr. McCarron also provided for you tonight. District enrollment study, 169 students. As you mentioned, teachers are wrapping up, and administrators are wrapping up final plans for the end of the school year. How many days left? 15. I knew you'd know. But who's counting?
Down.
Um,
I think she's a couple.
So, a couple of things I'd like to highlight. I want to thank, I know, Ms. Callahan as well as Ms. Yezzi and Mr. Pitts for organizing the 3rd grade orientation that happened May 17th, I believe, over here at Volts, where the students were able to come over and have a tour of the building, meet some of the teachers and staff, also see where they're going. Also, we had kindergarten orientation last week at Bingham and Downing. Bingham was Thursday, Downing was Tuesday. I know you had good turnout for both days. I know kindergarten numbers, I'm not looking in that direction. Kindergarten numbers are, pretty sustained, it's a good amount, so we make those necessary plans for the kids. Over here at Volts, you have the 8th grade dance coming up on June 12th at 7 p.m.
Pre-prom at 7.
Got it? So if you want to take a look at the all-purpose room, you're more than welcome.
Did you say the 7th?
12th.
The 12th.
At 7 p.m. Excuse me. And then graduation is set for Triton. We had to be moved because of the late snow dates that we had in March. So that's going to be June 19th, beginning at 6:30.
Slideshow at 6:05.
Slideshow at 6:05. Okay.
They're like 5 minutes.
So So if you'd like to attend, obviously you're more than welcome. The spot's designated for you. As Dr. McCarron discussed summer programming, trying to get as many ideas and get people out there. And we had some coaches do some talks to the kids that get some interest started up. I know one of our staff members also had a music component to try to expand that program. Next extended school year for special education students runs from July 12th to August, excuse me, July 10th to August 4th. And that'll be Monday through Friday this year. In the last couple of years, we've done Monday through Thursday. Okay. We have that information out. There's staff rating improvement as well. Summer projects. As I was telling the committee earlier in the meeting, we have a bathroom renovation that needs to be done over at Downing. Mr. Hines and Mrs. Yazzie are sick of hearing the bathrooms flood again. So there's some major work going to be done there. They're basically going to have to renovate that entire bathroom and also the line that leads out from the bathroom down through the main office, down to Mrs. Yezzie's office, out into the street. Because it just can't take it anymore. As Mrs. Beebe said earlier, the lines are probably old, and I said you're probably right. Flooring installation, some carpets being ripped out in all three buildings, replaced with tile. The hallways and stairwells at Bingham and Downing will also be painted. New playground installation at Downing. I know you've met with I forget the gentleman's name.
Yeah, Michael. He's
Yes.
supposed to send me a few designs by the end of this week.
So that will be installed sometime over the summer. Also some playground upgrades over at Bingham, because that needs some love as well. So we're taking a look at that. The HVAC system for the all-purpose room for air conditioning to be installed. Get some final quotes on that to be installed also in the summertime. And then the last two classrooms here at Walton C Wing will be, have the air conditioners installed as well this year, including over out here.
Wow.
Just done a nice job with that. Big meeting I have come from June 10th, just for QSAC, there's some changes they're making to that. I'll take good notes and relay them back to you next time. And I forgot to add signage to all three schools. We'll have electronic signs being installed at all three schools. We're excited about that. And then a tree donation was made as the Transportation Authority.
Yeah, South Jersey Transportation Authority, who is the company that's responsible for the Atlantic City Expressway. I hate to use the term randomly contacted me, but I think that was pretty much the extent of it, to see if they could donate a tree, that they were donating trees to like local schools. I think they're just kind of like trying to do things for the good of the cause and to go green, which obviously fits right in with what we're doing here in Runnymede. So they came by, they made a beautiful sign and put the bucket filler symbols on there, and we kids helped it, plant the tree, and it looks really, really pretty. It's on the corner of Central and, it's, like in the corner.
That's good.
I know. But it's very beautiful, and they did a great job. It was just really nice working with them, so I will formally thank them.
I think there's some pictures up on the Facebook.
There is, they're on the web,
Instagram.
yeah, they're on the website.
You got that?
Yes, it's very, very nice. It's for a company to just reach out and say, hey, we want to do something nice, and we're very grateful.
And then, Mr. Silva and Mr. Pilly, not to put you in the spot, I know you received a emerging school. Anybody want to talk about what
Yeah,
that is?
we are one step closer to our goal. So with that designation, they did give us some really good feedback, which is character.org. As far as suggestions to improve the program, they also complimented on some of the unique aspects we have within the program, as far as community service, our reality fair, staff recognition. So yeah, we are one step closer. We're always looking to improve, and the final goal is to become a state school.
Congratulations.
That's all I have for you. If there are any questions?
Any questions from any of the board members on any of the other reports? Nurses report, foot in the ground, special education. Committee reports. I guess I'll start since I've won a couple of these. I've given each of you a breakdown on the committees. The Camden County Educational Services Commission meeting, which was May the 3rd. It was just basic tasks that we went through, kind of like any board meeting would be. Nothing major that's going to impact our district or other districts in the county. So really nothing to report as far as anything significant. The Runnymede Planning and Zoning Board meetings, which I attend, they canceled for the month of May, so they did not have a planning zoning board meeting in the month of May. May the 20th at Mercer County College, I attended the New Jersey School Board Delegate Assembly as your representative, and they had 2 resolutions, and I want to thank the board members that did respond and give me some feedback on the direction to vote on with the resolutions. The first resolution was submitted by Edison Township Board of Education, and what they were asking New Jersey School Board Association to do is to support a movement to force the state to stop asking the public schools. If we have a child and that family and that child decides they want to go to the local charter school, the funding that we would get for that child goes to the charter school. Well, they wanted a resolution that we begin to fight to change that. What the executive director of New Jersey School Board Association stated and the attorneys is we can't legally do that. We have to work with the Senate and the Assembly and change the law. We can't come up with this resolution and support it. Well, it was a heated debate. This went on for over an hour. And I would say more than 50% of the districts that are represented by the board members want to go in this direction. So after about an hour, 20 minutes of people getting up and going back and forth and repeating, I stood up and asked that we take a vote to table this resolution and send it back to committee and take a look at what direction they want to go with. And that was voted on and that was approved, so that resolution was tabled. The second resolution is quite interesting. The second resolution was submitted by a district in our neck of the woods, Waterford Township. I didn't realize this. There are New Jersey statute and there are regulations that if you're going to do a shared superintendency position, 2 districts, that agreement has to be for a minimum of 3 years. The reason why Waterford Township submitted the resolution, they are asking that the state consider expanding the provisions that would allow a district to hire someone or go to another district and say, can we share your superintendent for 6 months or 8 months or 12 months? Because they had an unusual situation in their district and they were not permitted to do that. So that resolution was discussed briefly, voted, and it was approved. 78% of the delegates there, we had 153 board members present, that was approved to go forward with that. So that is it as far as any reports I have. I do want to add one thing, especially to our board administrator. The executive director just wanted to remind all of the school districts that the state has set aside $10 million to help refund the cost of your lead testing of your water. As of the May 20th meeting, only about $200,000 of the $10 million has been applied for.
We already submitted.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, one of the issues though is that while they've allocated that amount of money, they're very particular about what specific costs within the lead testing they're approving. So I'd say of the amount that we put out, I would say we're only getting about close to 20% back in terms of reimbursement because they wouldn't approve the other pieces because it wasn't as a part of one of the allowable things. However, Runnymede has already submitted that.
All right, so we are getting some.
Okay.
Samantha's not here this evening, our board president, and she would normally report on the Black Horse Pike Regional School District. Anything there and
Oh,
negotiation?
you know what? I don't know if anybody else has Black Horse Pike.
What?
Next year, I just got the Global Connect call last week. Next year, all Triton, Highland, and Timber Creek students will receive a Chromebook. Yes, yes, and will to
All
take
their
home,
subjects.
just like we did.
Okay.
The Black Horse Pike Regional has implemented and budgeted and,
So they followed our example.
exactly.
All right. Okay.
Gregory will finally have a Chromebook.
Very good.
Karen, it's
Very-
right, you two people.
Very excited.
Well, thank you,
Christopher's
Maria.
right.
How about negotiations?
Mr. Buck, can I speak to Black Horse Pike real quick? I just wanted to mention something that happened from Ms. Shepherd, reached out to me, Anthony over at Belmar, and one of the principals in Gloucester Township. We're going to try something called a graduation walk on the 14th, afternoon. What it is, to sum it up, is the seniors that graduated from Bolts are going to come in their caps and gowns and walk through the hallways and hopefully give something for our students to aspire to as an end goal.
That's cool.
There's a little video clip I can forward to Mr. I. She's still firm on transportation, that's where we're at with this, but I'll get something to Mr. I, and he can forward it to you if you're interested in coming. Just a quick walkthrough of the school, just for the kids to kind of admire.
We have a lot of good.
What day will that take place?
The June 14th.
June 14th.
That's awesome.
It's approximately 10:30, but I'll get the details from Mr. Rodney before to you. But it's a nice,
And the kids will be in the hallways.
in the
That's such a good
hallways,
idea.
and because of the time, some might be in the lunchroom, so it's our first go at it, so we're gonna
I guess.
put a route together for them and make the best of it, but I think it's good for kids to see their older brothers and sisters and kids from the neighborhood who have reached, that accomplishment. So
Very
I'll get some information out to you, but I want to make it public knowledge.
Thank you very much. Negotiations?
Negotiations, still working with the REA for their contract, and REA is not quite due yet.
REA.
I was like, wait. REA.
Yeah.
REA I'm working on, REA is not quite due.
Alright.
And we have one more year. One more year.
Okay,
I
it
have
did-
something to report about
Yes.
the Runnymede Library. I'm on the board of the Runnymede Library, and they have made some changes to their hours, so please check the website. They are going to be closed on Saturdays due to budgetary restrictions and staffing issues. So they're going to have hours Monday through Friday, but I'm just check the website before you go. If you want to visit the library, just check for hours. It's budgetary and staffing issues that the library's had recently.
Yeah, so that more just 16 hours. Like, 2 weeks.
At this time, we will be going into a brief executive session, whereas while the Senate Byron M. Bear Open Publics Meeting Act requires all meetings of the Runnymede School District Board of Education to be held in public, NJSA 10:4-12B sets forth 9 types of matters that may lawfully be discussed in executive session without the public being permitted to attend.
That's all.
Whereas the Runnymede Public School District Board of Education has deemed it necessary to go into closed session for certain matters which are exempted from public. Whereas the 9 exceptions to public meetings set forth by NJSA 10:4-12B are listed below. Next to each exception is a box within which the number of issues to be properly discussed that fall within this exception shall be written. And after each exception is a space where the additional information that will disclose as much information about the decision as possible without undermining the purpose of the exception shall be written. Now therefore be it resolved that the Runnymede Public School District Board of Education will go into closed session for the following reasons. And that would be any matter involving the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of performance, promotion, or disciplining of any specific prospective public officer or employee, or current public officer or employee, employed or appointed by the public body, unless all individual employees or appointees whose rights could be adversely affected request in writing that such a matter or matters be discussed in public meeting. Whereas the length of the executive session is undetermined, would you say about 15 minutes? It'll be about 15 minutes in length. The Runnymede Public School District Board of Education will make every attempt to estimate this time, and as we have said, 15 minutes in length approximately. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Runnymede Public School District Board of Education will go into executive session for only the above stated reason. Be it further resolved that the Runnymede Public School District Board of Education hereby declares that its discussions and aforementioned subjects may be made public at any time when the Runnymede Public School District Board of Education attorney advises that the disclosure of the discussion will not detrimentally affect any right, interest, or duty of the school district or any other entity with respect to said discussion. Be it further resolved that the Runnymede School District Board of Education, for the aforementioned reasons, hereby declares that the public is excluded from the portion of the meeting during which the above discussion shall take place, and hereby directs the board secretary to take the appropriate action to effectuate the terms of this resolution. Be it further resolved that the board secretary, on the next business day following this meeting, shall furnish a copy of this resolution to any member of the public who requests one at the fees allowed by NJSA 47:1A-1. Action on any item may or may not be taken in the open session at the conclusion of this executive session. So at this time, we ask that you please vacate the area.
Just get a motion.
Oh,
I'd
second.
like to make a motion to go into executive session.
Naomi, second.
Second.
Patty.
Again, about 15 minutes, thank you. Runnymede Board of Education is now back in session. Property and Transportation.
Can I get a motion for property and transportation?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Motion made by Chaz, seconded by Naomi. Any questions? Okay, roll call vote. Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckon?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, I need a motion and a second for personnel.
I'll make a motion and second for
No,
personnel.
you can
You
only
can
make
only
one.
do one. I can only do
Right, I'll make a motion. I love her.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Patty, seconded by
Yes,
Chaz.
I love her.
Any questions? Items 1 through 17. Okay. Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckon?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Motion passes. I need a motion for finance.
I'd like to make a motion
I'll
to
second.
approve items number 1 through 57, please.
Motion made by Naomi, seconded by Maria. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yep.
Number 5 is the first one.
Got it.
No extra cost to families, right? For
At
the
this
increase?
time, so there is a 5-cent increase in the meals that we're getting charged from Black Horse Pike. At this time, we do not feel that it's necessary to add a cost to the students. So the cost will be remaining the same for the 17-18 school year. So our prices won't be going up on that end.
That's good.
Good.
Second question is number 20. 3-year service agreement with Republic Service to provide waste and recycle removal. I just happened to read, if I'm not mistaken, I think the borough just bought a new trash truck.
A used, no, a new used.
Is there any way that
That's what
we
they said
can
in the meeting.
do something with that, so we're not?
We looked into that last time. They also do work with what other,
Belmar.
Belmar.
Correct.
So we looked into that and we spoke to their facility person who's in charge of those projects. In order for us to use that, we would then have to go out and purchase
A truck.
dumpsters, like the correct size dumpsters for the truck, so that way we'd be able to get used. We also currently, and Frank's not here to correct me, I think we get serviced twice a week.
And we have
And-
struggles to do once.
And I don't know if we would be able to get that same service with their trucks. So I know Frank had major concerns when we looked at that before we went into the 3-year contract. So in terms of looking at what the cost would be, what the shared service agreement would be, plus the cost of purchasing our own, and the receptacles would have been smaller, so it would have increased the number of receptacles where we have, and we currently have 2 solid ones that are fit within the fenced area. So we then would have had to re-fence to make sure that the new ones would fit. So there were a lot of pieces, but we did look into it.
Now, what about with the new truck? Is that
It's
It
a,
did-
issues go
it's a
there?
new use because it's breaking down.
It'll depend on what it allows. So what I can tell you is that after our 3rd year agreement with this, once again, we'll go back out and we'll see what Republic has to offer, what the other competitors have to offer, and what other shared options are available locally. However, it wasn't really feasible in terms of space, what we would have to purchase, and then also the 1 week wasn't something that we were.
We're not buying a trash truck.
That's
We like to buy vehicles with trash trucks.
I haven't looked that up yet, so, no.
I
No
thought
trash
they could
truck.
use your trash truck if you do.
I can do school buses in advance,
Might be able to
but
generate some revenue that way. You know?
Okay, another question. Number 34. Accept New Jersey SIG safety grant.
Mhm.
What are we using that for?
That usually goes towards security. So many times when we update our cameras, that's money that we're getting back from our insurance money that was spent through New Jersey School Insurance Grant. So each year, based on the group and what isn't used or used, they then give money back to the schools in the form of grants. So that we get the safety grant each year. Last year, I want to say it was about $3,500. This year, it's a little bit over $5,000. So we'll use that to replace cameras. With grant money, I always want to make sure that when it comes in, it gets spent immediately. So I know we're going to be replacing cameras or adding cameras to different locations. So we'll be using that immediately as well.
Now, is that what number 40 is? Be Safe Inc.?
Be Safe services our schools, so when the alarms go off, Many times they're the ones who are monitoring the alarms and getting us that information, or doing any major fixes. And the same is true when certain doors, when you try to arm the building, if something's not shut or closed, or something's not working, and we've tried to figure it out, they're the ones who are monitoring that.
We've used that for the past a lot of years,
Since
10,
I'm-
12, 17 years, possibly. They used to be called something else. Radar. So that might be, they changed their name a couple years ago. They rebranded, so they might not be, I want to take a look at it.
I have a question. Item 46.
46.
It's not about item 46, it's a request. If not at the June board meeting, at September board meeting, one of the things that we are trying to do through Sustainable Schools is to reduce paper consumption. Instead of single-sided copies, two-sided copies, etc. I would like to see a comparison of the 2015-16 school year with the 2016-17 school year as far as paper consumption for the year. I just want to say that we're moving in the right directions, because that's not spending that money, we can put it someplace else. Thank you.
But remember, the cost will probably not be going down due to the fact that the paper that we're now buying is also post-consumer, recyclable, recycled.
Well, then let me rephrase the question.
So I understand what you're saying, but I just want
Besides
you
cost,
to,
the amount,
Paper
the
amount.
volume of
Got it.
paper used.
I just wanted to clarify that just in case.
Yeah, good point.
Any other questions?
I have a question, since
Sure.
you brought the copy machines. Is it a unlimited copy? Is that what that is on those 5 machines? Or we have a limit how many copies per machine?
There's a monthly limit, and they bill us when we go over. But then I know the 3 secretaries at all 3 buildings, along with the business office, do a nice job of letting people know, because they have to program their number in.
So it shows who's using it, which departments.
So you can see how many copies are put in monthly then, over time.
Hopefully they're doing two-sided.
Sometimes 3.
That
Well,
one I'd
now
like to
you
see.
know. Let's
I'd
not.
like to see that.
Any other questions? Roll call, Ms. Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beebe,
Yes.
Mr. Buckon,
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
Motion passes. We need a motion for curriculum.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Chaz, seconded by Maria. Question?
I have a question.
Sure.
For number 1, do you know what our percentage rate was last year?
In what category? We were 100% in all areas, we were 72% in curriculum and instruction.
In curriculum instruction?
Correct.
Where were we at last year, you know? Was
Seven.
the last Q the last
That was,
Q-
that was 72. That's remained the same.
What was the one before that?
Oh, when we started the process, it was 26.
I wasn't sure we started.
And the other area, the starting point was 26, and that was from 2013. We then came up to 72 because we became compliant in all areas, and testing was the one area, and that was it. Any other questions? Roll call, Ms. Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beebe,
Yes.
Mr. Buckon,
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
Motion passes. Can I get a motion on policies and public relations?
I'd like to make a motion to approve policies and number 1 and 2.
I'll second. Give it to Patty.
Motion made by Naomi, seconded by Patty. Questions? Roll call vote, Ms. Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beebe,
Yes.
Mr. Buckon,
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I was told not to speak.
At this time, we will recognize any citizens and staff on non-agenda items.
The public is reminded that they should attempt to resolve problems and complaints through initial contact with staff members or members involved therein and the chief school administrator prior to petitioning the Board of Education. Complaints should only be brought to the board after appropriate school staff has had a reasonable opportunity to resolve the problem at the employee level. Statement should be limited to the length of 3 minutes. The public is reminded that all public complaints against a district employee must be made through a specific grievance process. A description of this process may be found in the Board of Education Policy File Code 0167. This policy is available upon request from the Board Secretary. Any individual naming an employee or in a complaint before the Board of Education without the employee's permission will be cited for violating that employee's civil and contractual rights. We are now open to the public, and I believe we may have one individual that's interested in the vacancy on our Board of Education that cannot attend the June board meeting. If that individual would like to speak to the board.
Hello.
Okay. Can you give us your full name?
Well, in case you didn't have it, right?
Well, I mean,
Can we have your full name?
Charles Hummer, Jr.
Charles. Thank you. Okay.
Basically just the why I wanted to do it, sort of. Well, number one, to learn how it's done and to help the school board, the school system and all, and what I can, in my past practices as anything from management to team building and those sort of things. I do like the green initiative going forward here. That's a wonderful thing. And using more of you guys, I know you're into social media to a point. I'm actually pursuing a mini MBA in social media marketing right now. To be finished in a month or so. So I can help out in that area as well. As to what it entails, I have a little bit more of a course. So.
Do you have any children in the district?
I do. Tyler Hummel in Bolt School here. Going into 6th grade already. It's amazing how time flies.
I remember his first day out of school.
Questions?
Do you feel you have the flexibility in your own personal schedule to make all the board meetings and committee meetings, et cetera?
With the exception of vacation, yes. My current appointment, we actually close at 5 every Tuesday. So if it close Tuesday, that'd be amazing and perfect. I've never missed a meeting at that point. Okay. Yeah, I have flexibility in schedule though, too. I make the schedule, so, within reason, I can.
Yeah.
We need somebody with flexibility. We just need
Great. Charles, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Off the cuff.
Anyone else from the public? No one? Just want to remind the board members that our next board meeting, scheduled board meeting, is June 27th. Okay, and
Policy and public relations at 6 o'clock.
policy and public relations will be meeting at 6 o'clock that evening.
I just have one more thing, two more things.
Two more things.
Thank, the 5th grade teachers, I know they had the lead graduation, lead which used to be called DARE. They had a little event on Friday, where the police officers and some mayor, excuse me, people from the council stopped down just to say hello. Just to hang out, play some games, eat some food.
And Officer Burns.
It's a nice culmination of that activity. I also want to thank Ms. Hubbard. Last week, she helped organize a group to come in, working with parents, dealing with students with ADHD. I know she's, the turnout was, she enjoyed the turnout because of the more intimate, amount of people were in that. I know the group that you had said they'd come back in the fall, possibly look some more workshops for our parents. I thought that was a great thing that she did, so thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Chris, second by Patty. All in favor?
Aye.
This is adjourned.